What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the trading table. Today is going to be another trade recap. I didn't make one yesterday because I didn't take any trades yesterday. I'm going to take everything off the chart here. But yeah, today it took a long, pretty nice long. It was a win. I'm going to explain why I had my targets, my stop, blah, 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 because this was actually pretty precise for the most part today. Pretty precise trade. And, you know, the market's been kind of bad recently. Today was actually a really good day. Like, I'll just explain later. Let me just take all of this off the chart. You can see my executions on the chart, and also, I bet you could see this like double buy here, and then the immediate sell. Well, that was actually an immediate sell, and then a buy. Dude, I tried to bind on my keyboard like a key to enter, and I forgot to switch it off of sell because I was looking for shorts coming out of this I was looking for shorts here because originally, like, before this candle opened, like, I thought we were gonna make a fair value gap and then, take some shorts down to data low. But, you know, yeah, so I accidentally did that. So that was like a minus, like, I don't know, like, it wasn't that bad. Like, I got in, I realized right away, I was like, oh shit. And I closed it and then entered long. Or actually, I put a limit order because price kind of took off, but then we retraced. Anyway, yeah, so this was the actual trade, right? From here to here. This was just, I just like, look, sell one at blah, 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 Tuesday, 9:48, buy one at this, like, the same price, I think, 2063. So it was 2063 and then 2067. And then I went long on on an actual one and then sold that up here. So yeah, just looking, coming into today, we had data. It was like some stupid data. I'm not even gonna bother pulling it up because, like, you know, it was like, dude, I don't even know what it was. It doesn't matter what it was, to be honest. Actually, like, just nobody should really care what it was. We had data. Okay, we had data at 8:30. We had nothing at 10. So today was actually, I was kind of excited to trade today. So that did end up making London's high, that data high. And then London's low was sitting super, super low. Just like relative to where we opened at 9:30. So 9:30 open was here. And London low was sitting a grand total of, well, I guess not super far, but for this market, it's kind of far. 60 points below. And this data low seemed pretty strong, right? We tapped into it a few times and price kind of rejected. So I was looking towards data low to be the point of interest for the low today if we were going to sweep and go higher. We also had previous London low, previous day's Asia low, previous day or this day's low. We had a lot of lows resting below, but I wasn't really concerned about that so much that it was a draw. I was more bullish bias just because of the fact that, turn this off. We tapped in. Was it here? I think it was this fair value gap. On the 1 hour, we tapped into this fair value gap, right? On the 4 hour, we had this fair value gap, which we're trading inside of. This one resting below, this one resting below. And then if we look over here, we did have like quite a bit of like bearish PD arrays. We have this fair value gap here. But I think we did end up inversing this. I don't know if it was by the time market opened. Well, we definitely didn't inverse it, but oh wait, no, we did inverse it. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what it was then. So yeah, we inversed that bearish fair value gap. That's why I was bullish today. Sorry, I just remember that. Anyway, yeah, so that's why I was bullish today. I did mark out Asia highs as well, just as like kind of a target. Looks like we're sweeping those right now, but yeah, that's just the draws. That's where I was looking, right, at the market. Did I mark out London's actual low? Let's not do that because that's not relevant. Right. So So I was actually on the charts a little bit earlier today. Normally I hop on around like 9:20 after I'm done making breakfast, but today I was on the charts at like 9:10, and I saw this setup. I was genuinely thinking about taking this, but normally I don't trade London, so I didn't, and I haven't back tested my stuff through London, so I didn't. But I guess like price is fractal or whatever, so it would have probably worked, and it did. It did actually work. It worked really well. So yeah, so we were accumulating here in London, and then we made this like little fair value gap, and we inversed it, bro. Look at this, bro. You didn't even have to wait for that retrace. Look at this R you would have gotten. You target that data high. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. Like that was a banger. Really, really good trade. 8R. Yeah. That was a really nice trade. I saw that happen. I was a little bit mad about it. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. I don't really trade London, so I wasn't too concerned. But yeah, then coming into today, we opened 9:30. We came up. We took out that data high and also London high because that data high and London high is the same thing today. And then we immediately displaced the downside. We started accumulating here. I flipped my bias. I was like, okay, I could take like a little short here. Um, with just like targets on internal lows and no external, because I really doubt that we're gonna hit the external draw. We did end up taking out London lows, or I mean, data lows again. So I guess that was completely wrong. But yeah, I wasn't opposed to a short. And here you can see the short played out really nicely. I just didn't get entry. I enter off inverse value gap, so I didn't get any entry. Came down, swept that data low again, and this low right here. That was a big point of interest. And I am gonna pull up ES's chart as well. So let me just do that real quick and show that while I'm right here. Okay. So as you'd see, ES here. I'm just gonna draw this. Look at that, and then look at this. Look at that SMT, man. Look and look how it played out too. So that was another reason I was super bullish coming into coming out of this, kind of like V-shaped recovery because of that SMT right there. That's a really nice SMT. That's really strong. So, yeah, I was bullish coming out of that. Yeah, there's been SMTs with ES and NQ a lot more than I've like seen lately. Especially like that data, the data candle just completely like affected them like differently. It was kind of weird. Anyway, yeah, so we came out of that came out of this V-shaped recovery with that SMT, and then so I didn't actually take this trade on the 1 minute. So we did have this fair value gap up here, right? That ideally we should have inversed before entering, and that still would have played out nicely. Dude, price is ripping. Whoa. But if I enter off the highest time frame, get fair value gap up to 5 minute. If we look at the 2 minute here, we see whoa, and then let me make sure. Yeah, so the 3 minute got wicked, so there was no chance I was gonna make a fair value gap. It might have made like a super small one, but like, dude, be so serious. So yeah, I was looking at the 2 minute. The 2 minute looked really good as well. The 2 minute looked super super clean. You had the S&T on the 2 minute. The accumulation looked really clean on the 2 minute, so it looked good. So yeah, we had this big fair value gap here. This was like over like, geez, like a 20-point fair value gap, which is kind of crazy in these markets. We like inverse it to the point, bro. Like look at, I had to zoom in my chart like this to make sure that we inversed it like completely. So yeah, we inversed it. Entered here. Well, I guess I technically entered a short first, but it's fine. I'm never using a key on my keyboard to enter a trade again. And then if we drop back down to the 1 minute, my stop was just at this candle body's low, because realistically, I didn't think that we took out this low and data low. So realistically, if we were coming back down to take out like lows, it wouldn't be this one. it would be London low. So yeah, I like could have seen a stop like of here, but realistically, if we even got that low, we're probably gonna end up taking out these lows anyway, and that's just obviously we're just gonna be running to London lows. So there's no reason to have your stop that low, especially because of that SMT. This is a protected. This should technically be a protected low or whatever. So yeah, did have some drawdown, unfortunately, and I did suspect that was just because like we barely inversed on the 2 minute, and then we kind of wicked down a little bit, which it was fine. My bias was still bullish. My draw was still my draw was London, but I didn't actually take profit at London, and I'll say why in a second. But yeah, so here was what the hell? How did I go to GC, bro? What? So right here was my break even. And so that actually got hit like right away. I originally had my take profit right here at data high and London high. However, if we look at ES, shrink that down a bit. As you can see here, with that wick, we did end up creating an SMT. And I just didn't want to wait. Okay, yeah, I thought I was wait. Did we make an SMT? Okay, yeah, we did. I was about to say. I was about to say I'm actually losing it if we didn't make an SMT. Yeah, so we made a pretty like noticeable bearish SMT here on ES and NQ. So I just didn't okay, so we put a still targeted London highs. However, I just wasn't I didn't want to really take a trade against an SMT, especially if the difference was like 10 points, which is it was. I'd rather take profit at 30 points than risk 10 more points. You know what I mean? And obviously, I was once we hit this point, I was break even. So, you know, I guess I could have let it run. But you know, you don't have to be greedy, man. 30 points is more than enough. Um, 30 points, you can't complain about 30 points. All right. That's a nice trade. That's a nice move. So, you know, if you want to be really greedy, you could have like you said fuck it and just go Asia highs. That would have been pretty nuts. But yeah, you don't have to be greedy. It definitely helps not to be greedy in the market. I will say that. You could definitely have put your take profit at London high, but then you'd be kicking yourself in the head if you looked back, saw this SMT, realized that this was a protected high, and that we probably weren't going to push above it, and we ended up not. We did have super like good bullish displacement though. So yeah, and then so once I went break even here, so this candle came through, I went break even, and then I'm like, okay, we just made like a pretty big SMT with that candle. I'm just gonna move my take profit to these accumulation highs because that's still good R. I believe I had, yeah, I think I might have entered like at the CE of the gap like completely. So yeah, I did. So I had like 1.87 R, which is more than enough. That's good R. As long as I have like over like a 1.3, I'm honestly happy just with my model. Most of the time though, I'm typically like 1.5. But yeah, so 1.8 is nice. Well, just 1.9, just round up. But yeah, that's pretty much why the target was there. Take profit, stop loss, everything, and that's about it. That's all there is to it. Price is obviously ripping to the upside now, but can't be greedy, man. Cannot be greedy. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the trading table. If you enjoy these trader recaps, be sure to subscribe, like the video, whatever. And yeah, see you next time I take a trade.